Kinchu here, Mesa, expert of guns. Any rifle wielded by this Warframe will excel at its potential, bringing ballistic devastation to the battlefield. This gunslinger uses the most fearful foes as target practice. Shattering enemy aim against all odds, Mesa makes peace in the battlefield. Mesa is one of the more popular frames. Boasting an exalted weapon ability, she's able to deal massive amounts of damage. Even though she barely has any armor, innately a squishy frame is made to be very tanky with her Shatter Shield ability. There's many different build variations and mod switch ups one can do for Mesa. In this video, I'll show you the build that I use that balances power strength, efficiency, and survivability. This is Shatter Sight Mesa. There's many different options for Arcanes. Plenty of sets that can increase your pistol damage or fire rate, as well as switch up your main survivability method. Damage, however, is one of the things that Mesa doesn't lack, so focusing on survivability is a good choice. Due to Shatter Shield absorbing a very large amount of damage, Arcane Barrier will be very effective and provide a lot of survivability. Mesa has a lot of build options and variations, swapping between shields and health to survive in high-level missions. For this build, I focus on shields to survive to synergize with Arcane Barrier. Corrosive Projection for aura. Using Pistol Lamp is not worth it since it stacks additively with Hornet Strike, ending up in only about 10% damage increase. Handspring in the Exilus. In high-level missions, knockdowns can very easily be fatal. Shatter Shield prevents knockdowns from Scorpions or Ancients, but not from AoE attacks. Redirection for shields to synergize with Arcane Barrier. Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude for power strength. Staggering Shield Augment for extra survivability that has a 50% chance of staggering enemies that shoot at you. This will add extra survivability and allow for easier pickoffs. Streamline with Fleeting Expertise for great power efficiency. Primed Continuity and Narrow-Minded for power duration, greatly increasing your shooting galleries and Shatter Shield durations. This gives great efficiency and duration while maintaining power strength. Anything over 200% will kill most enemies instantly, unless you're facing extremely high level content or a lot of shielding, damage reduction, or power reduction auras. Mods on your secondary weapon will contribute to Peacemaker's damage. Riven mods, however, do not affect the ability. Hornet Strike for base damage. Barrel Diffusion and Lethal Torrent for multi-shot and fire rate. Anemic Agility for higher fire rate. Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker for critical stats. Peacemaker's base critical hit chance is 25% along with 300% critical multiplier. Lastly, Pathogen Rounds and Convulsion for corrosive, swapping out to Pure Toxin versus shields or radiation for heavy units and bosses. This will give Peacemaker over 6,000 corrosive damage without critical hit stats taken into account, and at a maximum multiplier that will result in over 60,000 damage on average with critical hits each shot. For focus power, in order to have great sustainability in longer missions, getting Zenric will help a lot. Leaving Void Pulse at base level and getting Void Pulse Mastery along with Energy Overflow will cost the least amount of focus to make it work. Void Pulse Mastery will reduce Void Pulse cooldown by up to a minute, and Energy Overflow will provide 4 energy regeneration per second for the rest of your mission. This whole setup costs 800,000 focus points. Mesa doesn't have a large energy pool and doesn't start off with a lot of energy at the start of the mission. Using Shatter Shield and dropping an energy restore will give you enough energy to sustain yourself until you can activate your focus power. Killing enemies and collecting energy drops will help a lot as well, although the latter is not necessary once you activate your focus power. During missions, Shatter Shield will absorb 95% of damage taken, which will allow you to take a lot of hits before going down. You will also be able to utilize this to proc Arcane Barrier constantly. Shooting Gallery will increase your damage done by 50%, as well as prevent enemies from using melee attacks on you since the ability jams enemy weapons. Ballistic Battery also is a great ability that you can use to boost your single target shots. After activating, you can charge it with shots from your pistol, primary weapon, or Peacemaker as well. Due to Peacemaker's very fast fire rate, you can charge it up almost instantly and use it whenever you see the need. This is very efficient with area of effect weapons such as Ogress, Penta, or Tonkor, but can work on bows or sniper rifles versus extremely high level enemies which have a lot of armor. The high power efficiency will allow you to activate Peacemaker with barely any cost and give the ability to refresh the field of view that shrinks with consecutive shots. Using Peacemaker versus cluster of enemies will be the most efficient way to use it. Overusing Peacemaker in single enemies will result in you dropping your energy quickly even with a high efficiency and open up the probability of you not having enough energy for Shatter Shield in the middle of the fight. Positioning yourself on high ground and in open areas will allow for easier Peacemaker usage, as well as dodging any melee attacks, as those in high level missions will kill you even through Shatter Shield if you don't have your shooting gallery active. During Peacemaker, your fire rate will gradually increase along with Peacemaker's multiplier increasing your damage with each consecutive shot. Mesa has a lot of options for alternative arcanes. There's possibility of using Arcane Velocity that will increase your pistol fire rate, resulting in Peacemaker's fire rate increase. Arcane Precision will give your secondary weapon 60% damage on headshots, and a less reliable alternative for this would be Arcane Awakening that also gives 60% damage increase on reload. Switching out Redirection for Vitality allows for viability with an Arcane Grace set. As far as augments for Mesa's abilities go, Ballistic Bullseye will give 100% status chance on a fully charged battery. Although this could be useful with gas or blast procs, it's not really worth the mod slot. Muzzle Flash Augment gives extra crowd control during shooting gallery switches between allies. In solo play, this mod is useless, but it also scales with power range, which makes it bad for Peacemaker based builds. Mesa is an all-around great frame that's able to dish out a lot of damage as well as buff her allies. Shatter Shield allows for much more breathing room in higher level missions, and Peacemaker makes short work of most enemies. This is Shatter Sight Mesa.